Today, I decided that I desperately need to level grind for the Elite Four. My team was pretty weak and stood no chance at all. Chantal dominated my Pokemon easily, as well as Grimsley. This was beginning to become a problem. After multiple losses against the Elite Four and battling the trainers in the stadiums, I knew there was only one option left. Audino. Audino gives a lot of EXP and EVs when you beat them, so it's only a natural choice. I set a lucky egg on my Pokemon and went searching. Luckily, there was some grass shaking the moment I went near it, and hey, what do you know? Audino! I forgot to switch my Emboar out at the beginning. No matter, at least those with EXP share can get some EXP. I hit it with a flamethrower and continued looking for shaking grass. Usually it's within 200 steps. Luckily, about 20 steps in, I encountered another Audino. At first, I thought it might have been shiny since the sprite showed up a little bit darker, but disregarded that when I saw it was still pink. Might have just been my lighting. I decided to use my Garvantula to knock it out with an Electro Ball. That was easy, and she finally grew a level. Well, back to searching. Something ended up happening. I ran into another Audino. This one was much different though. I looked at its gender and level. Male, level 14. No different from the last one. It just grew a level. The thing that made this Audino more noticeable were burn marks caused by electricity being visible on its body. Not only that, but when it appeared, its cry was much longer and dragged on, and had a bit of a cry added to it. I decided the easiest way to get this creepy thing out of my sight was to attack it again. I used Bug Bite this time, and luckily enough, it gained a critical hit and knocked Audino right out. I was done with this. I didn't want to get a visit from that disturbing thing again, and went to level grind against Basculins instead. Sadly, they weren't showing up for some reason, so forgetting about the Audino incident, I went back into the grass. I saw a grass shaking spot and immediately went for it, expecting to beat up a normal Audino. I was greeted by the same Audino. Level 15 in this situation, except this time it was clear what my Bug Bite did. It tore out one of Audino's eyes, and blood was sinking down from its socket. About to hit the run button as soon as it popped up, there was a dialogue before the option showed up. It was Audino.
Why did you leave me? You were having fun, weren't you? This is what you wanted, right?
A menu choice of yes and no popped up. Instantly, I selected no.
You're lying to me, aren't you?
Again, I selected no.
Liar! Go on with it.
The battle began. Right at that moment, I hit run.
Why?
I couldn't get away, yet for some reason it was my turn again. The only way to get out of this was to attack Audino. I switched over to my Caracosta and used Bite. The wild Audino fainted. Phew, that was over. Now I can get on and ignore the grass shaking spots. Suddenly, every step I took, the grass shook right in front of the direction I was moving in. Audino was cornering me. I was greeted this time by the Audino, growing a level once again, symptoms growing worse on it as part of its left ear was bitten off. That was my Caracosta's doing.
Are we having fun yet?
I selected no again. How could watching this cute Pokemon suffer like this be fun? I thought Audino was one of the cutest things in the world.
You're lying to me again? Everyone does this. Go on, have fun.
The battle began, but what did it mean by everyone does this? Then it hit me. Everyone uses Audino for level grinding and EV training. They abuse how much it gives. Suddenly, Audino spoke again.
You know it, right? This is how everyone plays with me.
I began to feel a bit sad, but I knew I had to knock it out again. I switched my Pokemon to a Golett and began attacking. Using strength, I easily overpowered the Audino. Sadly, I was getting used to this, even though I didn't want to. I ran into Audino again, and this time its right arm was torn off because of strength. Playing it smart, I decided a good way would probably end this once and for all with my highest level Pokemon of all. I brought over my Haxorus, and I decided to put this Audino out of its misery. Surely enough, Audino popped out again, and it had a reaction to my Haxorus. Its sprite was crying. It looked almost like it was staring directly at me in disappointment.
You want the fun to end? Really? But that's not fair. Why? Why do you want this to end? We're having fun. Do you want this to end?
I selected yes. Audino then used Endure, but that wouldn't work since my Haxorus had Mold Breaker. I swiftly ended it with a Dragon Claw. Finally, things were back to normal. I walked, and once again, Audino showed up. Hasn't it had enough yet? The Audino popped up, with the scratches on his chest, lines of blood dripping down from them, saying another set of dialogue once again.
I'm never going to leave. Hurt me
I turned the game off. I couldn't handle it. I decided to leave it for a few hours and then return. The 3D model of Zekrom had been replaced with that of Audino. Upon pressing start, I was greeted by Audino's gargled cry. There was no continue, there was only a new game. Afraid to press start, I turned my game off and on again, until everything was back to normal. At least, until a new wild Audino appeared. Hey! What's up? How you doing? So, how did you like my narration of that creepypasta? Pretty good, huh? Well, I've been reading a lot of those lately, and Pokemon-based creepypastas have always been my favorite. If you haven't seen it yet, I've already touched upon the most famous of all the Pokemon creepypastas, Lavender Town Syndrome. If you missed it, you can watch it right here. But for right now, let's keep talking about Audino. You know, there's a lot of Pokemon creepypastas, but I read so many of them and I'm just like, this is dumb. You know, this isn't even remotely believable. This is obviously a story. And this one was kind of different. You know, the idea of the poaching of Audino's backfiring, it's kind of neat.
And this pasta really utilizes that uncanny valley, and utilizing the uncanny valley is always the best way to go for creepypasta. So, as I've done before, I would like to test this creepypasta to see if it's real or not. So we're gonna test it. I'm gonna put Pokemon White into my 3DS, but in order to do that, I have to remove Pokemon Y. And this is the first time I've taken Pokemon Y out of my 3DS since getting it over 2 months ago. It's that fucking good. Alright, so we're just gonna put that back there. And then we're going to shove in Pokemon White. There we go. Now come join me as we hunt some Audinos.
Alright, here we are. I have picked Pinwheel Forest as the location for this experiment because in the creepypasta it mentioned that the Audino in question was at level 14, and that should put our Audino at, if not the exact same, at least a very similar level. Now, Audinos do not appear when you walk in the grass at a regular pace. You have to wait for a shaking patch, and that's how you'll find an Audino the easiest way. So we're just going to kind of run back and forth here until we spot a shaking patch. It shouldn't take too long. Where are you, Audino? I want to play. I want to hunt you for your EXP, cause I'm a sick bastard and I get off to it. Come on, Audino, I want to make you all bloody and gross, cause I'm a sick freak. I like to hurt Pokemon. Where are you, Audino? Any day now, the fans are waiting. Where the fuck are you, bitch? Come on. Okay, finally, we got a bite. Hello, honey, how are you? At level 15, male, close enough. The legend claimed it was a level 14 male, so we're on the right track. Alright, so, just like in the legend, I have Embor. Now, he doesn't know Flamethrower, but he does know Flare Blitz, which is another extremely powerful fire-type attack, so let's burn this bitch. Alright. So we're gonna switch over to my Zekrom, which does not know Electro Ball, but knows Fusion Bolt, which is another extremely powerful electric type attack. So let's just get another Audino out here. Again, I'll splice this if I have to. Oh, looks like I won't. Oh, Pansage, you've gone and fucked me up. I wanted an Audino. This is your punishment. You did this to yourself. Alright, let's look for an Audino again. Yeah, already the creepypasta isn't followed because I ran into something besides Audino. There we go. You better be an Audino. Okay. Well, for starters, this is not the same Audino as before. This one is a female and level 14. And it doesn't look any darker to me. But we're gonna continue on anyway. Shock the bitch. Oops, maybe not. Shock the bitch. Let's see. Now we're going to switch to my shiny Whirlpeed because it knows Bug Bite. Yes, I bred a shiny Whirlpeed, but I never evolved it in the Skullpeed, so now at this point I'm just going to bring it over to Pokemon Y through the Pokemon Bank. But here's another Shaking Grass. And I don't see any burn marks, do you? And it's... could we say this is... I mean, it's a male 15, so we could say this is the first Audino, but even then, there's still no change, so... Let's do Bug Bite. This might take more than one hit, because Whirlpool is... Yeah, it's going to. Because this map battle... The Whirlpeed is at a much lower level than my other Pokemon. But we're just going to use Bug Bite a few times. And there we go. Yeah, here's an example of how much experience Audino gives out. A level 15 Audino gives 1,113 experience points. Alright, so in the creepypasta, the next attack is Bite. My Crocodile knows Crunch, which is the stronger variation of Bite, so we're gonna send out Crocodile for the next one. You know, the creepypasta should have had this music change, like, as Audino kept appearing, have the music get progressively scarier. That would have made the, you know, that would have added a little something extra to the creepypasta. So when we see Audino again, according to the creepypasta, its eyes should be dangling from its socket. And lo and behold, as soon as I said that... Nope, still looks like a regular Audino, and it's a female. We could be dealing with two Audinos here, I don't know. Let's go ahead and use Crunch, which is supposed to bite off its ear. Nope. Actually, I also think Audino was supposed to start talking that time, wasn't it? I think so. Didn't talk though. So we are going to switch to Nidoking, who knows Strength. This time we're going to try running and see if that, you know, speech screen comes up. Even though the Audino is totally unharmed. There it is. Still looks fine to me. And now it's level 17 now. You know, let's try to run. Let's try to run and see if anything different happens. Nope, I just ran. I successfully got away without any complications. But we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Still got strength and Dragon Claw. Oh, the grass is shaking faster now, at least. Gone down in level this time. Alright, we're gonna use strength and rip his fucking arm off. And we're gonna switch back to Zekrom because he also knows Dragon Claw, which is the final attack used in the legend. In the creepypasta, I'm sorry. And here we go. She still looks totally fine. No talking, no damage, no nothing. Oh well. Let's do the Dragon Claw and finish this. Alright, well, as the final part of the creepypasta, the narrator turned off his DS and then noticed that instead of Zekrom on the menu screen, it was Audino. So, we're gonna test that. So, power off. Yep, that's Zekrom. Definitely not Audino. So, yep, no parts of the creepypasta happened during this experiment. Everything went off as perfectly normal.
So, there you have it. The Audino Wants to Play creepypasta is not real. You can infinitely beat up Audinos and nothing out of the ordinary will happen. To be honest, I have a confession to make. We didn't even really need to test this creepypasta because it was never claimed to be real in the first place. The original writer of the creepypasta flat out admitted right away that he wrote it just for fun. It's not based off a personal experience. So, I just kind of did all this to entertain you. But it was fun, wasn't it? Having you believe even for a minute that this might be real was entertaining, wasn't it? If you look down in the description, I've left a link to the original DeviantArt submission by the original artist. It was submitted March 21st, 2011, only a couple weeks after the release of Pokemon Black and White in America. And if you have a suggestion for a Bad Girls Bizarre Experiment or Challenge that you'd like to see featured here on the Bitch Blog, all you have to do is request it down in the comments section. So go ahead and just tell me a little bit about it, provide a link if you have one, and if it personally interests me, I'll do it. I'm always looking for new shit to feature. This has been Bad Girls Bizarre Experiments and Challenges. Till next time, salute!
Bad to the bone. Bad to the bone. Bad